Oh no, they're back. It's another Creaky Gamers battle report. Let's inspect the forces and get on with it.
I'm just running a unit of 10.
Alright, the Elves for tonight's battle versus the Dwarves. And I've got a newly painted 3D printed lion chariot. So Keith and Dor, after all his white lions were killed last game, he has decided to come back with a lion chariot. I've got a level 2 with a silvery wand. Keith and Dor's got the ogre blade and the armour of Calador on his lion chariot. He's supported by a couple of Tyrannoc chariots up the back there. Core units, I've got a big unit of 10 silver helms with the banner of Illyrian and a unit of Lothern Sea Guard, just with bows and spears, no shields. There's 15 sword masters, 21 Phoenix Guard with the war banner. Then I've got a couple of bolt throwers, see how they go in the new edition, and a great eagle. So that's it, 2,000 points. Budgetary cutbacks to level 2 with the silvery wand. I couldn't fit in a level 4, so we'll see how they go. Okay, the Dwarves are here and they have scouted forward with, they're just rangers with great weapons.
Yep.
10, I guess.
12.
12.
Yep.
2 new gyrocopters.
So they'll die quick.
They'll die quick.
10 of the Iron Drakes with the Trollhammer torpedo.
Okay, yeah.
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer running about, yeah.
Hammerers. 13 Hammerers with
King.
The Dwarf King on shield and the Battle Standard.
Battle Standard next to them, yep. New Longbeards.
18 Longbeards, so they're ready to go too.
Yeah.
And another 12 Rangers.
12 Rangers, okay. That's the Dwarf deployment. Right, then the Elves, out on this flank I've got a chariot and the silver helms with the Illyrian banner, the eagle, bolt thrower, Keith and Dor on his chariot, the sword masters with the level 2 wizard mage, the Phoenix Guard with the war banner, and then over this flank I've got the chariot, the bolt thrower, and the Sea Guard, or Sea Girls. Alright, so just deploying the Dwarves. They've got a nice little hill there to deploy on, and I've just made these new movement trays. I bought like a 10-metre roll of magnetic rubber, so I'm not sure what sort of size I want to put my units in, so gradually I'm gravitating to wider formations like 6, 7, 8 wide or whatever. So you can see the Sea Guard are deployed 10 wide in a couple of ranks, and then I've got 6 wide on the Phoenix Guard and the Sword Masters, and the Silver Helms in a big block of 10 out there. So we go into turn 1. Turn 1. That's the end of that turn. The Silver Helms, I wasn't recording then. Oops. Okay, yeah, I forgot to hit the record button on turn 1, but this is the situation at the end of turn 1. The Elves won the roll-off, and they did a little bit of shooting. We did a couple of wounds to a gyrocopter. The Sea Girls, the Sea Guard, they shot at the gyrocopter and didn't do any wounds on that flank. He scouted forward with the Rangers, just around that tree and in the woods over here. I moved the Silver Helms up, thinking, yes, they've got the banner of Illyrian, they'll be able to get those Rangers in the woods. And then the Rangers shot 3 of them dead, so the Silver Helm's not having a good start. And I'm just shuffling forward in the middle. If I'm smart, I won't take on the King and the Hammerers with the Phoenix Guard there, so we'll see what happens. And then Keith and Dor on his lion chariot and the sword masters have just moved up a little bit. I wanted to cast the reserve move in ethereal on the sword masters, but I failed to cast it with a level 2. And the bolt thrower back here missed, and we did a couple of wounds to one of the gyrocopters. And his rangers and the gyrocopters did a few wounds to the Sea Girls on that flank. So usually not much happens on turn 1, but we both got a little bit of shooting, so there was a bit of attrition. And I'm thinking the Swordmasters, the Silverhelms should be able to take care of those Rangers, but we've lost 3 already. All right, as we move into turn 2. Turn 2. Okay, start of turn 2. Start of turn things, Walk Between Worlds, Tempest, Courage of Anirian. Make them unbreakable. Goes off with a 9, 10, 11. Remains in play. While this is in play, the target friendly unit. Actually, I'm going to cast it on them because I can see them. Because you have to do it on somebody. I do it on them.
Yep.
And they become unbreakable.
Okay.
You're not stopping it?
No, I've only got 1 Fated Dispel.
Yep. Okay. Save that for later. Yeah. They become unbreakable. I don't really want to go charging into your dudes there. I haven't got any other spells here. So then I've got to declare charges. Do I want to? 5 on one of these dice. No.
Oh no!
So they'll just
I
get
failed
one.
charge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to be able to get you anyway.
You won't get me either, probably. And then you want to do your stand and shoot against my Silverhelms? Yep.
So, ballistic skill 4, so 3s. Normally it would be -1, but because of dwarf crafted weapons,
Oh, okay.
they don't get the -4 stand and shoot.
Buggers. Yep.
So 3s.
Oh, dear. Not looking good for our Silverhelms.
Toughness 3, yeah.
Yep.
So 3s with any 6s being armor bane 2. Two, 3 normal save.
Yep.
And 2 at -2.
All right. I'll do the 2 at -2. No, you killed 2. And the normal saves, you killed 3 again.
Wow.
So, 1, 2, 3. I'll see if they panic from that. They're okay. All right.
Vain courage.
Now I want the charge.
The big one.
Oh, they're going 6 plus Swift Stride. They're
Emphatic.
going 10. They're in. They're going 18.
Oh.
And difficult terrain is dangerous terrain.
Ooh.
So it's a tempest. So there's a swirling tempest there that,
Right.
that your blokes don't like.
As it remains in play.
So it remains in play.
So what's its casting value? So
It's a
at least
9. Bugger. All right, so I'll do my champion, my High Helm.
Yep.
2 attacks, needs 4 stature. You got 1 hit,
That's 4.
and they have lances, I think. They're lance.
That'll be 3s, won't it? 3 plus 2.
So we're not giving ground, we're just giving ground. Yeah?
Yeah.
If I was falling back in good order, you would break me because you outnumber me.
Yeah.
So you're going to follow up?
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise you've got to test not to. That's my turn 2. All right, yeah, so that was turn 2. The Silverhelms charged. They lost another 3 Silverhelms on the charge in there. Then they lost another 3 in the combat, and the Rangers are beating up the last Silverhelm. I've probably made a mistake here putting the Chariot and the Eagle up behind it, because that last Silverhelm's not going to last. We did remove 1 Gyrocopter with some shooting, and I did fail the charge, but I cast a vortex in front of the Hammerers unit, which is dangerous terrain. They could just move through it if they wanted to, but that might hold them back a little bit. So my plan is to go after the Longbeards. Right. Dwarfs turn 2. All right, the Stunties turn 2. There's not much moving going on, or actually, that's the Troll Slayer moving over to support the Longbeards. Then these little guys with their shooty weapons are coming down off their hill to get in range so they can shoot the Phoenix Guard. And then there's a bit of a shootout on this flank where the Rangers are and the Gyrocopter. The Gyrocopter's got some rattle gun or something, so they're shooting at the Spear Girls, the Lothern Spear Girls. So you can see some shooting from the Rangers and the rattle gun on the Gyrocopter. and a few of the spear girls go down as well, or sea girls we'll call them. So we're losing the attrition war there by the look of it at the moment, and a few shots here in the middle versus the Phoenix Guard. And I do remember in the end that the Phoenix Guard, they got a 4-up full plate armour save, but there's always AP and armour bane, etc. So I saved a couple there, and then I remembered that I saved one, I think. And then I remember they've got Witness to Destiny, so they've got a 6-up ward. So that saved another Phoenix Guard. They're unbreakable at the moment, and this wobbly camera, I have to fix that. It's on a little boom thing. I have to tighten it up. It keeps wobbling. That's why that right-hand picture wobbles a bit. Anyway, there's Silver Helm. He goes down. No armour save. He just dies. Didn't do a wound. Yet they've killed everything, these guys. And now they've overrun into the Tyrannok Chariot. So this flank is a bit of a disaster. The Silver Helms have let me down. And now those Rangers are running amok. So that's the end of the Dwarf turn 2.
Turn 3.
All right. Elves, turn 3.
Okay, so I've decided to send in the Swordmasters and the mighty Keithendor, Defender of Ulthuan, on his new Lion Chariot into the Longbeards. So they charged simultaneous. They left enough room for the chariot to get in. I think that's correct, because they wheeled enough to allow the chariot to get in, I suppose. Otherwise they cover the frontage. And then I've chickened out with the Phoenix Guard. I thought better of it, and they've moved back, even though they're unbreakable. They do not want to fight the what are they? Hammerers with the Dwarf Lord on the shield. And I just move the Eagle over there to maybe block a charge or something later on. And so the Rangers are going to chop up my chariot. I do have a little bit of shooting back, so I'm returning fire at the Rangers, and the Lothern Seagirls, they actually do a couple of wounds and kill a couple of Rangers. So I probably should have been shooting at them instead of the Gyrocopter. The Gyrocopter's pretty tough. Alright, then we got the combats here, and so predictably, they actually think the chariot takes a couple of wounds this turn and falls back a bit, so they don't actually destroy it. It just gives ground, so that was okay. Even though we're fighting first with the horses and the riders, and then the Rangers with their great weapons. Little shooty troops with great weapons in skirmish formation seemed like a good idea, actually. So they did pretty well. Then I rolled a couple of 2s for my armour save. So I lose the combat by a couple, but I rolled pretty well. And so the chariot just falls back, taking a couple of wounds. And then in here with impact hits and the Ogre Blade and the Swordmasters, everyone's striking first here versus the Longbeards. The Longbeards decide to go hand weapon shield, so they get a better save. We managed to kill 5 Longbeards. So there's a couple there. I think that's from Keithendor on his chariot. And then maybe the rest of the attacks seem to not do anything, and they keep saving, the little blighters. So the Elves will win that combat, and the BSB's nearby. He does roll a big high number to start off with, but they'll fall back in good order. So I'm pretty impressed with the Swordmasters. Weapon skill 6, so they were hitting on 3s. So the problem with fighting dwarves, they all have very high weapon skill. So you want to... they've all got like weapon skill 5 and 4 and so on, and that sort of negates the elf advantage. Even though we're striking first, we're pretty much hitting on 4s. But the Swordmasters do okay. But in that case, they did break, I think, and then they're within range of the BSB, so the Longbeards fall back in good order because we don't outnumber them 2-1, so they're okay. So there they go, and we're going to follow up with the chariot. So Keithendor follows up, and I'm testing to restrain with the Swordmasters so they can reform and face off against those pesky little Rangers. So they pass their leadership test, they reform on the spot there. So they just sort of reform there so they can maybe threaten those Rangers later on.
Oh yeah, I'll try and...
No.
Demon Slayer's going to charge Keith.
So the dwarves turn 3, and the Slayer has charged in, corner to corner contact there on Keith and Dor on his chariot, which we work out is a bit of a mistake, I think. And then the war of attrition on this flank. The gyrocopter is moving up, and those rangers are shooting the spear girls. So the spear girls, the Lothern sea girls, losing that war of attrition there. So the ranger shooting and the gyrocopter shooting, although it wasn't so hot rolling there. But we're not saving. They've only got a 6-up save. So a few of the seagulls, they do have a chariot behind them in support, which you can't see on the bottom of the screen there. And then some more shooting from those guys with the troll hammer torpedo, etc. And they take out a couple of the Phoenix Guard. Ooh, looks like 4 of them are gone now, but they are unbreakable. And that vortex, he failed to dispel that vortex, so the hammerers are just going to stay there sitting behind the vortex in the centre. And then, predictably, the chariot does 1 wound, but then the scouts, the rangers with their great weapons, they chop up the chariot, and then they reform to face the swordmasters who are sneaking up behind them. They've captured a banner. That's why that silver helm is there. The disgraced banner of the silver helms is sitting there. So they're facing off against the swordmasters. Now, here was the interesting situation. I followed up into the Longbeards. We weren't sure because we issued a challenge. We're deciding the Slayer would have to accept the challenge because he's on his own. He's nowhere for him to hide. And Keith and Dor has such high initiative. So we're trying to work out what happens. Do the impact hits go into the challenge, or do the impact hits go into the unit? Or does it in fact get impact hits because it pursued into a unit falling back? Anyway, we did the impact hits on the unit, which I think probably should have gone in the challenge. The Slayer has to accept the challenge, and Keith and Dor slays him with his ogre blade. So probably a mistake sending the Slayer in there. And we worked out he's got plenty of points left to spend now because he's not going to take the Slayer on his own. It's a nice idea, but not with an armor no armor save.
Turn 4.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll leave those remains in play in. Won't cast anything else.
Far enough.
So that's it?
Yep.
Are they going to do their stand and shoot, or they hanging around to stand and shoot? Yeah.
May as well.
All right, so we're into turn 4, and luckily I turned those swordmasters around to face them, and the swordmasters charge the rangers, and then the chariot decides to charge the gyrocopter, and the gyrocopter flees. We're just deciding about whether if he's going to flee or stay there. He decides to flee. He goes quite a way, but then I get a good roll with the chariot, and it's got swift stride. And so the chariot runs down the gyrocopter. So a bit of a victory on that left flank eventually. But the sea girls are dying to the shooting from those rangers. And then I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do. Are the Phoenix Guard going to move up? So they move up a little bit just to threaten the... they're not much of a threat against those hammerers with the king on the shield. And I move the eagle over just as a sacrificial unit. So maybe he's got to decide whether he wants to shoot the eagle or shoot the chariot. Or the rangers will shoot the chariot probably. But the sea girls, they decide to shoot at the rangers. And I think I do another couple of wounds. Should have been shooting at them all along. There you go, girls. Good shooting and a couple of wounds. And they kill another couple. So... I probably should have concentrated on shooting them, even though they're skirmishers and long range. So we'll have a look at the combats. 1 hit. No wounds. CB Comeback Champion slayed everybody. 1 hit. Yep. Strength 5 verse 3. It's a wound.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank 2. You're kidding, eh? He's about to get slaughtered though.
All right, so the got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 others. 2, 4, 6 others. 3s. Well, they're trying to lose here. And 3s. 4 at -2.
That's 4 dead.
And the wizard misses.
Get hit back with any.
No. So we did 4, standard 5, got a rank 6, close order 7.
I just got a banner.
1, banner 2. So you lost by 5.
Yep. No, I only lost by 6
Did you?
because I'm not close order.
Oh, you're not close order. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Suit your roll anyway.
I rolled a 6, which is under my leadership and not under my. What did I lose by?
So you,
6.
yeah.
So
How many you got left? 5?
Yeah.
2, 4.
So the Swordmasters beat up those Rangers and they fall back in good order, but I think we should have auto-broke them because we did outnumber them 2 to 1. So a little mistake there, but they do beat them up eventually. And then Keith and Dor issues another challenge. So he's going to challenge the champion of the Longbeards, and he's going to beat him up. So the challenges are going okay. He's trying to lose, and with a bit of overkill from the lions and the crew on the back of the chariot, those dwarves will lose by a couple, and they will again fall back in good order or give ground. So not breaking through there. The Longbeards are hanging on. So, or did I actually lose that combat? I did 5. They've got a rank and a standard and close order. They didn't do any wounds, so they lose by a couple. No, I must have lost by 1 or something, and I'm falling back in good order. Anyway, that's the end of the Elves' turn 4.
9. Yep, you stopped it. Yep.
Vortex gives away.
So the dwarves finally dispelled the vortex that was in front of the hammerers with the king on the shield, so that will allow them to move up safely without going through dangerous terrain. And the Phoenix Guard are getting whittled down by a bit of shooting. My chariot did pursue and kill the gyrocopter, so some little victory there, but now the rangers are going to shoot at my chariot. So those pesky rangers, I've killed a couple of them with the sea girls, but they're shooting pretty good, and I lose my chariot. So my chariot, an exchange, chariot for gyrocopter. And this eagle was meant to be a distraction. Not much of a distraction, they just decide to shoot it and kill it. Only 3 wounds on the eagle. So we'll have a quick look at the combat with the Longbeards.
No one to challenge now.
Nope.
No. So he'll have to just fight them. Fight them all. No avoiding it now. Oh, I'll just do his attacks first with the Ogre Blade. 3s.
Oh, what?
4 1s.
Jeez.
Keith the door. What's he done?
Yeah, a bit too much of the.
Oh, no. What's your initiative?
Yeah, so I thought I'd leave that bit in there. That's why he's having so much trouble killing these Longbeards. He's just not rolling very well now. He's killed the Slayer in the challenge. He's killed the champion in a challenge, but now he's just rolled quadruple 1. He's going to take a wound this turn, and I think the Longbeards might even win this combat and push him back a bit. So it's not going so great. I rolled a double 1 for my break test. That's probably 6 1s in a row he's rolled. And the Swordmasters, who should have broken these guys last round, they managed to chop up the rest of those Rangers. So they didn't like fighting the Swordmasters. It allows the Swordmasters to... They passed their test, reformed. Maybe they can come and help later.
Turn 5. Okay. Turn 5. Emphasis later.
All right, well, things aren't going so well for the Elves. The shooting has destroyed my left flank there. Although we did kill the 2 gyrocopters. They were newly painted, so that was always going to happen. And then if you ever think about charging hammerers, don't do it. And I've just done it. I fought them before, and I thought I'll just avoid them. But the Phoenix Guard have charged into the hammerers, and I do have a little bit of shooting here, but as you can see, did have a unit of 20 Lothern Sea Girls there, and there's only about half a dozen left, and the bolt thrower. So they're trying to shoot those rangers, but no, not much effect. I tried the multi-shot as well, and did a couple of wounds, and we did actually kill another ranger. The girls shoot at them as well, and they're shooting okay, but they're skirmishing and so on. But I think the dwarves, those rangers, are going to win this flank here. Oh, we've got a few wounds on them, a few hits, a few wounds, but they're going to hold. So that flank is pretty secure for the dwarves. Those rangers holding up a lot there now. And then we go to the combats, and Keith and Dora on his chariot does do a bit this time, and kills a couple of them. But those Longbeards are proving hard to kill. And I think we might win this combat and push them back a little bit. And next turn, on turn 6, we'll finally get the Swordmasters will come and help out as well again. So those Longbeards are holding up pretty well. The deciding to go shield and hand weapon gives them a 4-up save. And he follows up there, and then this was the mistake, sending them in. So they've got good weapon skill 5, but the Hammerers and the King, etc., have got the same sort of weapon skill, so it sort of negates the elf advantage, even though we're striking first. So we're hitting on 4s, and we're hitting on 4s with their halberds, but that's -1, and we might have killed one Hammerer, and then the King and so on will take their revenge on them. And the magical weapon negates their Witness to Destiny 6-up ward save. So they are unbreakable, so they're not going anywhere. They're just going to give ground after this combat. So maybe I can hold them up for a turn or two to stop them coming around the corner. We'll see what happens. But the Phoenix Guard are just hanging on there, and they're just meant to stop the damn fly on the table there as well. Anyway, that is pretty much the end of the Elves' turn 5. So we'll see what the Dwarves do in their turn 5. Turn 5.
Alright, let's do.
You want to try and dispel that?
Yeah.
You need a 10. No. It's not going to run away. Alright, so he failed to dispel the Unbreakable Remains in Play spell on the Phoenix Guard. He's just moving up these guys up for later, coming down off the hill. Maybe they'll get another shot in, but they've run out of targets, so they're moving up closer. And the Rangers are going to keep firing at my Sea Girls, and there's only about 4 of them left in the end. So there was a unit of 20 Sea Girls there. They've been taken out by the Rangers. At least we got rid of a couple of gyrocopters. Then we go back to the combat. So Keith and Dor has another go and only manages to get 1 wound through with his Ogre Blade. And the Lions don't do anything. And then the Rangers hit back again. I'm not Rangers, Longbeards hit back again. He's thinking that I don't know can you change your weapon each round, or can you just stay with hand weapon shield? I'm not sure. Anyway, he stayed with hand weapon shield and he's won the combat anyway. So things aren't looking good for Keith and Dor on his chariot, but he does have the Swordmasters coming in on turn 6. And then the Phoenix Guard have a swing. They're fighting in 2 ranks now. It was looking good, and they managed to do 1 wound. So they did 1, and then the King and the Hammerers get stuck into the Phoenix Guard. The King's magic weapon negates the Witness to Destiny save, and I think they're still unbreakable, so they shouldn't break, but he does quite a few wounds. And does he kill them all? Yeah, he does, pretty much. There's only 3 left, and they push them back again. All right, so the Phoenix Guard holding on. Okay, Elves turn 6. Yeah, so I've got no spells. So I've just got the Swordmasters all charged there.
Sure.
Okay, so the Swordmasters go in there to try and help out against the Longbeards there. I do have a tiny bit of shooting left. The Sea Girls, they survived their panic test, and we managed to maybe kill one more ranger or something, but the little unit of 12 rangers has held that whole flank. And then the king on his shield bearers and so on, they destroy the remaining Phoenix Guard. They pass their test not to overview, and they're just going to turn that way, reform to face the flank of Keith and Dor on his chariot. So they need to break those Longbeards right now. If they don't break them, look at all those 1s and 2s. So we failed to do anything here. It's a bit of a yeah, so maybe one Longbeard dies, and so they hold. All those Swordmaster attacks. Keith and Dor with his Ogre Blade. Well, we did two. We did two. Two Longbeards die. They've got the General nearby and the Battle Standard. So the Longbeards, in turn, they don't do much damage either, but they hold, which allows the King to go into the flank. So we just finish off turn 6 here. The King goes into the flank. They reformed 4 wide. Go into the flank. There's a challenge, and we do 1 wound each in the challenge. The Swordmaster does a bit, and then at the end of the combat, the Dwarves have won. They've won that combat, and you wouldn't believe it. We roll a 10 and a 10 for the break tests, which means they fall back in good order. And I think Keith and Dor would automatically break in that case. We didn't do it that way, but because the Dwarves outnumber us 2-1, so Keith and Dor on his chariot should have broken. We said that he would fall back in good order, but I rolled a 10, so they outnumber me 2-1. So we made a mistake there, so it would have been even a more devastating victory for the Dwarves. So I think in hindsight, I probably should not have charged the Hammerers with the Phoenix Guard. They just they're not going to do anything. I mean, you think they might, but they don't have any advantage there, and we're just adding up the combat. And so I rolled 2 10s. So at least the chariot, Keith and Dor on his lion chariot, he should have broken. He just rolled a 10, and we just said, oh, he's falling back in good order, but because they outnumbered him 2-1, or is it the whole combat 2-1? I'm not sure. Is it individually the numbers, or is it... Well, anyway, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, because they outnumber the chariot 2-1, but they don't outnumber everybody 2-1. Not sure about that. Anyway, it didn't matter. It was a victory to the Dwarves. We added it up, and the Dwarves still had a lot of points left in their Longbeards. I mean, their Longbeards are still alive, and the Hammerers are still alive, and he's got his Rangers and those little shooty guys in the middle. So it was a good game. Lessons learnt. Probably don't charge the Hammerers. Silver Helms, oh boy, they let me down again. They let me down in 6th and 7th and 8th edition. They've let me down again here. Anyway, that's the end of the battle. A victory to the Dwarves. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this battle report from those great tacticians, the Creaky Gamers. Please support the channel, like and subscribe, leave a comment below, especially if they stuff up the rules again. Do it now. Don't let them get away with it.